Welcome to the second session of the powerful three lecture series on how to create and grow a successful business in physiotherapy. This series is being brought to you by Project Ask Physios in collaboration with Star Exercises Physiotherapy Services. I'm Ravi Shankar, physical rehab business analyst and coach, and I'm the resource person for these three lectures. In the first session, we understood how to create a great business in physiotherapy. If you missed the first session, please find it in the YouTube channel of Project Ask Physios. In this session, we are going to talk about how a physiotherapist's business can have a leverage over competition in the market. As we had mentioned in the first session, whenever planning to start a new physio business or when planning to expand the current physio business to newer locations or with a bigger team, all physios from across all levels of qualifications, expertise, and experiences virtually have the same starting line. But as a matter of fact, while the starting line is the same, the perceived level of competition is not so real as it is perceived, at least for this while in India, because the situation here is quite reverse as compared to Dubai, where the number of physiotherapy clinics have outnumbered the number of overall patients in Dubai. Compared to our society's needs for physiotherapy services across all levels of healthcare, like critical care, hospital care, community clinics, home care, and wellness, the existing number and distribution of physios is quite inefficient across the country. Ideally, the number of prospective patients in any optimally populated place in India is so huge that even if they could all be made to avail physiotherapy services, all these patients, suppose they wish to have the services on the same day, then all the physio units which are available in different healthcare setups, say like hospitals, nursing homes, community clinics, and home care services, they may not prove sufficient enough to provide all the required services on that particular day. So, the mere perception of competition among private practicing physios, it hardly results from any real competition among themselves. No physio ever works not to allow patients to reach another patient, right? So everybody is concerned about his or her private practice. So, in fact, this sense of competition, it results from the lack of having a direct patient acquisition in the market and having a dependency on secondary referrals. So the companies who you pay to receive leads, actually they own the market rather than you. Similarly, patients referred by doctors belong to those doctors and never to the physiotherapist. And patient to patient referral is definitely an unreliable growth prospect in terms of revenues. Therefore, the whole focus comes down to each and every private practicing physio to gain direct control over the market, to generate direct leads for his or her clinic, or say home physio services, or both. In the absence of this direct patient acquisition, a perception of competition will always trouble any concerned physio's mind. So let us see how to gain and sustain direct patient acquisitions in the market. So as a first step, like we discussed in the first session, a physio needs to have a great business plan. Now, why a business plan? Because without a business plan, even if you are able to gain direct patients, you won't be able to gain, sustain, and grow your control over the direct market. So in the first session, I had mentioned how the number of patients which can be attended by any physio in a day, in a month, and in an year are more or less it's predictable, and hence the maximum revenues which would be generated just by treating patients is more or less predictable per physio, whether it be you yourself or any of your team members. Therefore, your next initiative after having considering the business plan, your next initiative has to be to create a right team for your physio business. Not that you need to hire your team on the first day of your business or hire too many physios without any financial budgeting, but more the market share you wish to capture over a period of time, you must be intent on hiring talents which are different from you or better than you. And this, hiring over a period of time has to be very much proportionate to your growth in control over your direct market. So remember, a stable team with each member having an inbuilt growth opportunity, he or she forms the base for any strong growing business in physiotherapy. So the next initiative, like once you have a business plan, you have a great team, the next initiative has to be your consistent monitoring and analysis of your business numbers. How many inquiries, how many direct of them, how many have come referred, what problems which physio services are for which the physio services are being sought, how many converted to leads, how many leads converted to paid services, how many patients discontinued your services prematurely. Like there was an inquiry, you shared your information, now you have patient's information and patient has your information, so that inquiry has converted into a lead. Once the patient agrees to pay you and has paid you, then he or she has become a paid client. And as per your assessment, if the patient requires say 3 months of physiotherapy but the patient checked out, discontinued the services say after 1 week or 2 weeks, then if you calculate that amount, how much you lose every month from such kind of patients who have discontinued your services prematurely, then actually it comes out to be most likely in lakhs, right? So these are the few statistics which will give you an insight into how growth of your direct versus referred market, it's happening. So what these analysis, like for example, they will give you an idea how much of the past profits, you made profits in past quarter, in past 6 months, in past 1 year, which you can utilize to gain repeat clients through your cashbacks. Previous clients, they helped you earn, and so you help them get cashbacks, and then or you can use the discounts for your new patients. So never offer any discount as a desperation measure, right? Okay, it seems that there is going to be a less footfall, so let me start giving discounts. No, we discussed that once you calculate the cost of your services, even if no patient comes, you are having a cost. So if you are planning a discount for which you have not earned a profit in the past few months, then please know that you are definitely, maybe you'll end up having a patient and serving the patient, but your revenues are definitely going to remain negative. So the purpose is, if you're having a less footfall or you want to have a greater impact, greater reach to the market, always know that you can't do by going in a absolute deficit. You may give discounts, but not at the cost of losing your revenues to your cost of the business. So this requires, that is why these business plannings are required, So, or what can be done? Say the strongest pillar in the growth of revenues, they say creating a range of services which can be repeatedly hired by each and every single patient on an average. So as I said, customer to customer referral is never a reliable source of revenue or for growth of revenue. So repeated purchases made by the same client, say different services as per different stages of physical rehabilitation, like we discussed about different levels of healthcare from critical care to wellness care. So it is the only strong base for every business, to grow their revenues. So while you initiate and complete a time defined physiotherapy service efficiently, try to create avenues where there is a possibility of a new level of physio service for the physically rehabilitated patient. So with these preparations, you focus on making the market know about your physio business, right? You had a business plan, you had a team, you got the numbers, which numbers are to be analyzed. So now you're prepared to go to the market. So, repeated and calendarized marketing schedules through print media, community activities, webinars. So, you create a feeling of familiarity in the target population because people like to purchase services from professionals and outlets where they feel confident about. So they would before they approach you, they would have seen you, heard you, right? So this facilitates direct acquisition of confident patients in the market. Irregular sporadic marketing activities, they hardly make any impact, especially when we talk about making an advertising physio's business, say, to stand out for any easy recognition and hire by prospective direct patients in the society. So, as a tendency, people always tend to buy services from specialists rather than a generalized professional. So, popularizing the core competencies of the physiotherapist and of his or her team of physios is quite crucial to gaining, sustaining, and growing the phenomena of direct patient acquisition in the market. The physiotherapist must remember to promote the value for money proposition to the market, for the concerned core competencies rather than range of prices and jack of all trade propositions. Remember, marketing activities must aim at making it easier for prospective direct patients to recognize the concerned physiotherapist with clarity and proceed to proceed to hire his or her services. So, like shorter recovery period with a higher priced per session physiotherapy is in fact cheaper for the patient who is being attracted to long or undefined recovery period with much less priced sessions. So with all these major initiatives as per the business plan, let us see how to manage inquiries and negotiations. This is a major factor in converting the direct inquiries into paid services. So in the business plan, a physio must create options of creating patients from three different categories of behaviors and preferences. So the first category of patients is a well experienced with physiotherapy previously or has developed a stable perception about the predictable work in physiotherapy. Example, like when you go to a physio, he or she will give you ultrasound and TENS, etc., etc. This kind of patient just needs a convincing scheme of payment, price benefits, discounts to get converted. Even the physio knows that no significant change in physical rehab outcome is going to happen with the best possible range of physio services available. So, come whatever, there is a very less chance that the physio's expertise level or quality of services will motivate this category of patient to consider purchasing the services without a mouth-watering scheme of payment and price benefits. So the second category of patient comes where they do not have experienced physiotherapy themselves before, but have collected feedbacks, reviews, and information from relatives and friends who have undergone physiotherapy before. This category of patients do some Google searches, and so they have a lot of queries to the therapist, even before allowing the therapist to assess them. So this category of patients are more or less having a self-confirmation on what problem they have, the tentative treatment things, but they just wish the therapist to confirm the same. Hence, the concerned physio's confident counseling of this category of patients about why he or she is the most appropriate therapist for that particular patient's presenting problems is the key to convincing, to convert this patient. Scheme of payment and price benefits are secondary considerations for this category of patient. There is a third category of patients where they are absolutely fresh, have least idea of what physiotherapy is and how it is going to help them out. This category of patient needs to be first counseled about the significance of physiotherapy to help him or her recover nicely. How physiotherapy is going to work, they need to be counseled about that. Followed by explaining why the consulting physio is the required physical rehab expert for that particular patient. And finally, to help the patient decide about purchasing the services with that particular physio, scheme of payments, price benefits, and bill commitments, they have to be explained. And here's what I'll call the tip of the day. No matter what new price benefits, scheme of payments, programs, etc., you make, always remember to try to extend the same to your existing and past patients. Whenever more price benefits are announced frequently with an intention to attract new patients, but it's not extended to the existing lot of patients, market gradually loses faith in the physio. It may not be possible to extend the new schemes to previous or existing patients every time, but then there must be some ways always thought parallel so that as not to use, so as to try not to let previous customers feeling left out. So this is about being loyal to patients who have been loyal to you, who have given good feedbacks about you, who have referred patients to you. And last but not the least, ensure to influx trust into all your business networks and alliances. And among your lot of patients, you must try to strengthen your claim to the direct market for physiotherapy patients. The stronger these networks are, the higher are the chances that your physio business will be ahead of any competition whatsoever is there in your target market. So, until now, we have seen how to create a great business in physiotherapy and how to make it compete for direct patient acquisition for the longest period of time. The third session will be dedicated to about how a physio business can be converted into a brand. And with this, we conclude this session. Please feel free to ask your questions now. Great, thank you.